This is your boy Tony Ortiz back again with This Week in Brave Exvius for October 19th, 2022. And as you can probably tell from the title, we are back in familiar territory again with more skip weeks and less things to pull on than average. But there's a lot of stuff going on that's coming soon. We're basically being forced into this huge time of a lot of cool events just because we've been, without them for a long time. We also know like what's coming. So we've got a lot to talk about today. Tonight, basically. So let's just get through it real fast. I have this real quick bit of news up on the screen that was just basically flashed in a few hours ago. And this is just a kind of a generic iOS devices are going to have to be updated to X version or whatever. I am not an iOS person. I do not own a single Apple device, nor will I ever. Likely, but it's just the EULA. I won't sign their EULA. But the deal here, I have experience with this because I work in an industry where we have to deal with a lot of these devices. Version 12 is an interesting pick. I'm not really sure why they picked version 12. Maybe iPhone 7s or did they skip 8 or did they skip 9? I remember they skipped 9. I think they skipped 9. Maybe those I know iPhone 6s are locked at 10 point something, and iPads generation 5 or older, or 6 maybe or older, are also locked at specific software updates. So what Apple does is they don't support the software on their old devices, even if the hardware is capable, post a certain point, and they do it forcibly. So like you can't um, you can't like manually root your software and then reinstall it later. It'll recognize immediately as soon as it connects to any kind of network that it's this device, and then it'll correct or whatever the fuck that they do. I don't know. It's crazy. It's really stupid, and I get not supporting the device anymore. But if somebody wants to like use the hardware to then like emulate or install the newest version of the software, to me that's kind of ridiculous. But it is what it is. So um, version 12 is puzzling because the newest version is well above that. I'm not really sure why they picked version 12 as the minimum software requirement, because typically all I thought was all devices were locked at 10 or below or 14 or higher. Like every device is going to be forcibly updated to 14 or higher. So I'm not really sure. Most major industry is running on 14 or higher. People's corporate phones, corporate iPads, whatever. There's really not much being done in between those two different versions, or higher, for the most current. So yeah, I really don't know. As far as I understood, any device past a certain generation can update past version 14 on iOS and higher. And potentially, it might not be a thing, but they might be these old devices might be locked at 14, like the older devices are locked at 10 something. But yeah, version 12 is weird. So I just thought I'd point that out. I'm not really sure if this is going to affect any of you, but if you have a phone that's so old, that's like an iPhone 6 or older, you definitely want to upgrade. I can understand why you'd be frustrated with the tablet upgrading, but I would strongly recommend in this case Windows tablet, because with Windows tablet you can use an emulator, and if you can get an emulator working, it's great. I unfortunately can't get an emulator working on my computer. I have no idea why, but Windows is eventually going to bring an Android emulator into its fold built in, and that's going to be a huge game changer. Not necessarily even an Android emulator, but like a true Android device, like application in Windows, so you can just create an infinite amount of Android devices associated with your computer, and that should allow you to play the game without issue once that drops. So I would recommend that first. Android tablets aren't bad, but they do tend to get outdated pretty quickly. You really have to invest in one that's got like a very, very top quality processor in it, and a lot of memory, because you're not going to crack it open and upgrade that like you would with a laptop or a desktop computer. Phones, I'm pretty conservative when it comes to phones. Like I usually keep my phone for 4 to 5 years, and then I buy a top of the line phone again, and then I keep it, and this ends up saving me a lot of money. But I am due, so my phone is going to be over 4 years. It's gonna be 5 years old in like April or May. So I'm definitely going to be looking to get a new phone next year when the new flagship of the device that I enjoy launches, which will probably be around that time. Um, but yeah, this is going to affect you. This is a pretty big note. You might miss this. You might overlook this. So I wanted to cover it, right up front. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's go talk about the units that we had this week. So we finally got Regina, but unfortunately, she's on her own banner, and um, I don't know what to say about that. It would have been way probably easier to justify pulling for her if she was mixed in with these guys. But she's not, so I don't know what to I don't know what to say about that. Um, yeah, but she's there. I don't know, like I want her, but I don't want to pull. You know what I mean? And it's just difficult to justify it, especially with what's coming up. So she's here, and then we have Ihana, who's unfortunately a copy paste unit from I think it's Ilmatil. And then Van Harmer, he's a really interesting unit. He's got some weird mechanics, and he has like 3 abilities. He actually does good damage, but the problem is that where you can actually do the damage is very narrow. So none of these units are really worth pulling for, but none of them are premium, so off-bannering them in the future might help you in a Dark Visions or Visions world. It could happen. I wouldn't recommend throwing tickets at them either. Some of the gear's good. None of it's really worth spiking one for, tickets and stuff like that. So, anyway, let's come on back down to the bottom here and just review some of the other things we've got going on. Let's see. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about though is the buffs. Once again, we've had a lot of buffs skip lately. And I think that whenever they skip buffing an older unit, or whenever they are bringing out a unit that they kind of like want to focus on, and they don't buff it for global, it's a huge issue. I think that like if Regina would have just had some of her mechanics fixed and just gotten like a little bit of a buff, it totally would have warranted her being on her own banner, and people might have even pulled for it. Because I can't think of it I think she's ice. I can't really think of like any other great ice damage dealers. Fravia's damage is pretty lacking. She's a great support, but like I'm trying to think of like a ice lock damage dealer that's like super super good. Nothing comes to mind right now for global, so that's unfortunate. Missed opportunity, and I think it really makes the game boring. Because anytime these new units come out, we just don't have we don't have any reason to use them anywhere. Other than maybe the occasional Vision World or Dark Vision in like 1 or 2 fights where the element's on, right? And then even when that happens, sometimes they'll change the elements so that we can't use some of the units that we've been holding for a couple months. And I don't even have to go back to when they changed the light element on that one boss, so that you couldn't use Cog to try to sell more copies of Vaughn and Balthier, and I was just like, that was very upsetting. So yeah, I don't know what their plan is. You would think that they would try to pivot away from that after all of our, concerns and criticism. But here we are. We're still there, and it is what it is. So what else has got happening tonight? What's ending tonight? All the Vision World stuff is ending tonight. So make sure you upgrade all your items. If you've got a couple hours left before reset, make sure to jump in there and definitely knock out all of your farming. Let's see. I'll go show you real quick what I was farming with. I believe I picked Earth because Sylvie, lol, and yeah, I don't even have Sakiko, but here's what I was using. I was able to use a party that could kill it on turn 1, and I got a total bonus here of about 900%. So I think I probably blew, I don't know, maybe like 30 pots on farming, and then I actually was done a few days ago, so I haven't bothered to farm since. You could farm for more crafting mats and stuff, but I pretty much bought out everything I wanted. Bought all the gear, finished all the recipes. I would definitely recommend, if you're a newer player, making sure to buy a couple key items. Try to like get through a couple fights, get to like the end where there's like the fifth stage where there's like a third boss. Definitely try to get that far and get enough to buy a couple key items. You're definitely going to want the broom because the broom has a triple bolting strike ability on it that will be great for chaining. Just like a blue wave or a scarlet wave will work. And then there's a couple other items. Let's see, we go to the rewards here, or we'll go to craft. Or actually, we'll just go to the King Mog real quick. All right. So yeah, if you forget about the Vision World, you have to come over to this area to buy the items. And what you're going to want to do is make sure you buy the broom for sure. That's the one with the triple bolting strike. And then from here, it's kind of depends on what you want. This is a Mana Series only materia, so if you're a new player and you're kind of limited, you could probably skip this. Probably this fist. It has killers on it. It's okay. What does this do? I don't even remember. Okay, 25% LB damage. That's not terrible. This does dual wield boost for magic. I'd probably go with the armor secondary, and then probably then like the fist as your third option. I think I actually have to farm a little bit. I need to grab this fist because on my alt account I have a Tifa, and I actually literally have no fists for her to wear. So I'm gonna grab this thing. It's got 2 killers on it. It's fine. But you also may want to grab the Excalibur. This is pretty good. It's one-handed, but it's got 50% Reaper Killer on it. So dual wield ever comes back, it's available. And you can upgrade it, to a 211 attack. So you make sure you buy this stuff before. The Mana Blade, you have to have a Randy. It's his upgrade. I do have one, so I bought it. But make sure you probably try to get this before this goes away. Or at least this might be available for the items to be purchased for another week. But make sure you farm tonight before the servers go off. Get as much of this resource as you can and buy as much of this as you can. And then, of course, if you always try to save a grand for dark matter, you can buy 1,000 extra dark matter here. And then after that, I'd probably go with red star quartz, since that's a limited resource. You're stuck by every week. These are always available every Vision World. And then from there, you just buy whatever foresights you need. I have a lot of purple and yellow laying around, but the other ones I was kind of short on, so I bought that kind of stuff. And then you can also buy pure crystals. I always buy every black pure crystal because there's so many black magic abilities to upgrade. Everything else you just kind of buy when you get low. If I get down to about 30 of something, I usually will buy the 5 that are available. But yeah, make sure you buy the broom #1 because that's a unique item that we don't have anything in the game that's comparable to yet, and we might really want it later when you need to do a light based chaining addition to a support unit or something like that. Okay, and that's pretty much all that was going on this week. I mean, we've got a couple fights here. Let's go over them real quickly. Kalifwich was really easy. Like I just ran this over with I think one of my regular farming teams, either this or this. I might have used my Chamber of the Vengeful team. I don't remember exactly which one I did, but I just ran it over. It doesn't do any damage. It absorbs a little bit of damage. But yeah, it was pretty simple to me. Just bring Sylvie and a tank that can cover or counter, and then you're just gonna win. There's plenty of videos out there that show you how to do it with lesser parties, so check that out. Also, we have this craft material quest that came this week, so hopefully you've been doing your business unusual on the highway. These to get the free coins for the collab. You also want to make sure you do this once a day as well. This is just free crafting materials. As you can see, it's basically some insignias, some foresight, whatever these research thingies are for. I don't even know. I think it's for upgrading a piece of gear. And then you're going to get some crisps as well. So make sure you do that. It's pretty quick and easy. And so that's pretty much all that was going on this week. no raid, finishing up Vision World, and so on and so forth. But since we have some extra time, I figured we would actually cover some news about tomorrow because we're finally going to have something to pull on tomorrow that doesn't feel that bad. So there is a question about whether or not you should pull for this banner. Let's just go over it really quickly. So we're going to have Cecil and Rosa from FF4 coming tomorrow. Cecil is still used in JP quite a bit as far as I understand it. He's a magic tank, so the question is, do you have Chow or not? If you don't have Chow, it's probably worth it to try to get at least one copy and try to build him up from there. I have Chow, but I'm worried that a lot of fights in the future are going to have ways to get around countering. Just because I think that they don't want Chow to be in the meta anymore. They typically want units power crept out, especially tanks and supports, by now. And I think that they're going to take more proactive action against Chow. So, that's one reason to own a copy, just purely on reason. I also want to own a copy because I love Final Fantasy IV. You see me play it on this channel quite often. And I just kind of want to have a new tank that is a very, very good complement to, say, like Runda on the other side, for the magic tanking. And I think that, since I have a ton of Lapis, as you can see up there at the top, I can afford to go ahead and, pull on this. I was really thinking that we might have double Halloween weeks here. You probably see me predicted in previous videos, but I guess I was dead wrong on that. So I'm wondering that if we might have a second Halloween week after next week. So next week will be Halloween. And then maybe the week after that will be a continuation. I thought they would do the week before and the week of, but maybe they're going to do the week of and the week after, potentially. Because I don't believe they'll go Halloween with a Clash of Wills unit and then right into Nier after that. I think they'll give people a chance to reload, recharge. So I think that we'll get a Clash of Wills unit next week, and then it's going to be the Halloween unit. And then maybe we'll get some NVAs for Halloween, and then maybe we'll get some buffs to Carton on the second week. And then maybe we'll see Nier sometime in November. Who knows when exactly? But since Nier is a completely unique collaboration, there's no Vision World to be around attached to it or anything like that. So it's definitely going to be squeezed in somewhere. But it might be 2 weeks worth of stuff. You never know. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But it's going to have to be soon. I don't think they're going to wait until December for Nier. It's got to be coming soon. Keep your eyes on the stream on the weekend on Sunday. I'm sure that they will, if not completely tell us exactly when Nier is coming, at least give us like a confirmation of when, like whereabouts. Early November, mid-November, late November. Like they'll give us something along those lines of the phrasing. What time in November to be expecting of it, and so on. So I wanted 100K set aside for Nier just in case. As you can see, I'm well over that, and I don't really have an issue with spending 40 something tomorrow to grab one Cecil. Now, I am resolved to immediately stop, no matter where I'm at on the banner, when I get a Cecil. And I'm also planning on doing the card rerun as well. So if I get one during that, I won't even pull on the regular banner at all. I just want one copy. I have plenty of STMR Moogles. I have we have an unlimited shard dungeon now. It's a daily shard dungeon. I can live with that. We've got this every day. Our fragments. If I got to dump him in my fragment dungeon, I have no problem with that. I'm also going to be, we're going to start getting our fragment tickets. So what that means is that a lot of the units that I would have in the fragment dungeon that are not like premiums or collabs, I can actually just pull them out now, and I can just put in a newer unit. So I can basically just take my Cecil immediately as soon as I pull him, and put him right into the fragment dungeon. And I can pull my Emperor of Paramecia out because I'm going to use probably about 100 fragments on him from these tickets that we're about to get. So keep that in mind as well. If you have some older units that are in your frag dungeon right now, you're going to start getting your frag tickets soon. We're going to get 300 total. I think it's 1 per day for the first 9 or 10 days, and then it's 2 per day after that, so we get a total of 300. So you'll definitely want to plan around that. I would strongly advise, looking at your frag dungeon party, get to an even base 10 number, 110, 120, or whatever, and then pull them out, and then just put something else in that's a collab that won't be in there, or that's a newer unit that's newer than Olive, and get fragments for them. Start on that right away. All right, I'm just gonna set up one of my farming fights here. I think I didn't do any of these today. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and set this up real quick while we go on to the next topic. Okay, yeah, the card reruns. So basically, you're getting the opportunity, if you missed any of the card step-ups, the global unique card step-ups, to pull on a 22k banner. At the end, you're going to get a ticket. The ticket's going to trade in for any of the cards that were unique. I think not including the last one, but it's been a while since we've got one, so I'm not sure. I think the Hio card is included. I'm not sure if Cool Smile is included. We'll revisit that next week on the show. But everything else is there, and it is basically the exact same opportunity you had during Anniversary. So when Anniversary came down, this exact same thing existed. However, it just didn't let you pick like the last 1 or 2 cards that had come out before Anniversary. So I had a friend who came back to play the game at Anniversary, and I said the number one thing, if you're going to spend any money when you come back, the number one thing you want to take care of first is Sylvie. And then the number 2 thing I said is definitely the card banner, and I kind of want to talk about why. So cards are just absolutely unique things that exist in this game. And especially cards that you pull from a banner. So one of the most important factors when you pull a card from the banner is you don't have to level it up. So if you're like a new player and you pull a card from one of these unique situations, it just comes as a level 1 card. It's ready to rock. You don't have to like find 15 Cactar cards. And what you are starved of in the early game is resources. You're starved from fragments, from shards, from all sorts of other things, gold, even experienced Cactuars and so on. You're starved of all this stuff. So you're even starved of equipment. It's very difficult to start getting equipment. They give you so many TMR Moogles to start with, but then once you use those, you're out. And with all the different various types of gear, you get like these, like you'll get like 7 to 12 really good NV units right at the beginning of the game, just from creating a new account or whatever. But you won't have any way to equip any of your guys. And what a vision card does is you slap it on any, FFBE unit or similar, and automatically you get the flat stats. You get better flat stats that you would have of equipment, and you can also get unique abilities. There's all kinds of cool stuff that is done by materia and so on. That's all on a card. So the main prize is going to be the Dazzling Demoness card. This is just kind of like the best card in the game, not in terms of how good it is line for line. You could argue Cog card is better, or maybe like 1 or 2 other cards are better. But the key with Dazzling Demoness is it's the only card in its class. So it's the only card that's the number 1 best magic card, not even close. Like all the other attack cards, are varying degrees of good in different situations. There's almost no scenario where you want to equip any magic based stat user with any other card than Dazzling Demoness. So that's why it's so important. It's so important that I'm going to do it to get a second one. All right, I have Dazzling Demoness. I'm not going back because I missed the Dazzling Demoness card. I'm going back to get a second one because it's only 22k, which is almost nothing. Pause of Prosperity was 5k, and I skipped that like an idiot, because I was upset about Xenogears. But we were having some discussions in Discord about the value, and we had some new players in there, and I tried to make as strong case as I could. I kind of explained what I just explained, and also, especially if you don't have Dazzling Demoness, you want it, because you will get good attack cards. They will fall into your lap at some point. Good magic cards are much fewer and far between. And Dazzling Demoness is even better than Dark Reigns. He's a premium magic unit. It's better than his card, and I think it's significantly better than his card. Now, the one argument against it is, well, they're going to put out another magic user card soon that's going to power creep Dazzling Demoness. Well, here's the key, okay? The only people that lose in that scenario possibly are people like me who are going to grab a second copy. If you grab a Dazzling Demoness card right now because you missed it, or you're a new player and it was, you started after it was available. Even if that power creeping card comes out, you're going to want to get that, and then you're going to have both. So then you can actually have the option to take two magic-based units to the same fight. Like if you're, say, taking Roberta or, and like someone else, like, not like you would take Louise to anything right now, but with her intrinsic, she's not bad. Oliveira maybe with his intrinsic, he's not bad. You have the option now to take these units with you because you have a Dazzling Demoness and this new hot freshness card, that comes out, right? Now, if this card power creeps Dazzling Demoness in the future, and I say I have two of them, I'm not necessarily screwed over or whatever because I already have two Dazzling Demoness cards. If this new power crept card that's better than Dazzling Demoness comes out, and it's like, not exponentially better, I could probably just skip it because there's not really any reason to have an only 10% better version of this card. If it's attached to a new premium unit, well, that's something I guess to consider because that premium unit might be worth going after anyway. But if that premium unit's worth going after anyway, it's naturally going to want to get TX3 at some point, and you're going to get that card by default. Now, if the card's on a banner, much like the rerun that we're going to get, and anything new that comes our way, that's just a banner I could probably skip, especially if it's during a other banner of new units that I don't care for. So there's all kinds of factors. The price is what is key here, and $22K for a bunch of pulls and any card you want is definitely worth it. Okay, 100%. If you're a new player, there may be some arguments to take the Hio card. Like we'll pull up the cards real quick here. There may be some arguments that can be made for why you should be taking this card, Lone Swordsman. It is very good. This will probably get power crept much quicker, but one other thing that this card does is it gives you the ability to have EN frames on any attacker. So I think, what's the unit requirement here? Is it FFB? Yeah, actually, any FFB unit automatically gains the ability to use EN frames, which is a great way to add chaining, elementless chaining to any unit that meets this criteria of FFB unit. There's another materia that does it as well, but I think that might be a materia that you have to get from trials. So I'm not sure, how obtainable it is for new players. I'd have to go back and look at it. I have it, because I have all my trials completed except for like 12 types, takedowns, newest boss, and the Chamber of the Vengeful. But there is an argument that can be made why you should take Lone Swordsman if you're a brand new player. But the real issue with Lone Swordsman is that it will get power crept, and like that, it will get power crept by regular ass cards that are just coming down. As most attack cards do. Dazzling Demoness has a couple of things in its favor that are just really hard to argue against. Okay, so first of all, it's got 2 to 100% killers on it. It's got the same stat spread, so it's got 500 and it's got some MP, which means it's great for MP-based casters like Oliveira. It's also got 100% MP up here. It's also got reduced MP cost over here. So there's all kinds of stuff. If you don't have Heliotites, you're a new player, again, this is massive. And then the big thing is for FFB units here, not only do you get 100% chain limit boost, and this is the most important part. Chain limit boost is what is on the Magister's equipment that's so good from Clash of Wills that doubles your chain limit. So instead of doing 300x times damage, you do 600x times damage if you have a max chain. The game doesn't show it graphically, which is unfortunate. I wish they would really fix that, but that's super important. Like, I mean, people, you have to have at least 2 of those items, and you're always going to want to get your STMR Indestructible Light off your free Save Your Souls Lightning. You're going to want to have this available for at least 4 units, okay? So The key here, because you can take 6 into a lot of fights, you want to make sure that 4 of them can chain cap if needed. So this actually goes a super long way in getting you there. The other huge thing is you get 200% TDH magic on this. That's a whole materia slot saved by just having the card, and the card has already amazing stats on top of that, right? So there's also a lot of mages they'll get capped for free. So okay, what's the big deal there? The problem is there's a lot of mages that aren't going to get capped for free, especially mages that are designed for dual hand and right now, or for dual wield. And right now you want to force double hand on everything. Double hand is just so much better. The variance is way higher. You're talking about a 1.25 to 1.75 variance roll as opposed to a lot of like 1.15 to 1.25 but hits twice, or 1.15 to like 1.3 ish it hits twice. And it's just when you do the math, it's not even close. Like the calculations are absurd. There's only maybe like 1 or 2 units where you still want to dual wield on, and it's only one of them. The new ActRaiser guy is by choice, just because of the way his abilities work. Even on Roberta, you want to force TDH. The key is sometimes if the gear doesn't swing properly, then you just go ahead and you do wield her anyway. The math has a fluctuation where it's like, okay, well, if I can't gear properly for double hand, I should just go ahead and gear for dual wield because it's I can get to max damage there, and that max damage here, even though the peak is this, if I can't get my gear for double hand to go all the way up here, then there's no point in me still trying to force it, but then doing less damage, right? So it sounds more complicated than it is. All you need to know is you need to force double hand, and like this card is so good. Anything that uses magic is insane with this card. And honestly, what's funny about this is like if you are desperate for a way to increase chain limit boost, you can put this on a physical attacker. You can put this on, and I shouldn't even say physical attacker, because physical and magic damage are completely independent of whether or not a character uses attack or magic as their stat. You can put this on an attack stat, a spirit stat, or even a defense stat unit that chains, and get them chain limit boost 100% as long as they are FFBE. And that's massive. It's like having an extra Magister's ring. That's how important this card is. And again, these killers are both. So like you can put this on a mage, you can put this on a physical damage dealer that uses mag as their attack stat. It's in there like swimwear. This is a great card for hybrid damage dealers as well, because you get this effectively. It's much easier to give 200% or more double hand attack than it is magic. There's only a couple materia that do 100%, and there's only one materia that does magic 200%. Now on the attack side, there's a materia that does 200. There's a couple materia there that do 150, and then there's a bunch of materia that do 100. So you can always get there, no matter what with physical. Much harder to do it with magic and other stuff. So I would strongly recommend anybody, if you have the lapis, if you can afford it, if you're not saving for Nier or Halloween or whatever, if you have somewhere between like 80 to 100k or more, I strongly recommend, if you don't have Dazzling Demoness, doing the card rerun, getting Dazzling Demoness. You don't want to be locked out of using a really strong mage unit in the future, especially if another card that's better than this doesn't come with them. If you're a new player and you're so desperate for attackers or attack stuff because you have nothing but attackers and nobody that even uses magic, then I can understand why you maybe want to do the card rerun for the Hio card. I think it's a little less value for this card. Or, if you are a new player and Cool Smile is available, that's actually probably worth going into as well. I don't know if this is going to be there or not for you, but this is a really good card for Clash of Wills. So it has passive morale generation on it, and it's got 100% to do different killers. So there's an argument for this card if it's going to be in there. I don't know if it will be, though, because it's the newest card. So we'll have to wait and see tomorrow on that one. So that's what we've got going on. I don't think there's anything else like super important to check with in the news. Like I said, I will be pulling. I don't know if I'm going to pull tomorrow, though. I probably will wait. We might even actually pull next week on the show, just because I I don't need to do anything early. I do. I basically I'm back bouncing back and forth between, do I pull right away tomorrow and then put Cecil in my fragment party and start working on his fragments immediately, or do I wait a week and then see if I get some through tickets or whatever, because I could just blow all my tickets on it, which I don't have a lot of tickets, but I'm sure we're gonna get some. I blew all my tickets trying to get Flammies. So I still haven't decided yet. I'm gonna sleep on that, and then like we'll kind of like come back to it. But I will try to do an impromptu stream tomorrow, probably somewhere between 7:30 Eastern, North American time, if I'm gonna pull. Just because I haven't pulled on stream in a while, because I haven't pulled on anything in a while. But if I decide to wait, we will do it next week during the show. So, we will talk about the stuff and the events of the week, of course, like we always do. And then after that, I will go ahead and be, pulling from there. So, one of those two things is going to happen. And, I always post notifications in my Discord before I go live. So you can check that out down below. There's a link to join it in there. It is a public forum, so please be respectful in there. And it's micromanaged, so when you first join, I will have to notice and then assign you the proper roles to get into the channels and everything that you're allowed to be in and all that. But please check it out. And I also I don't have any kind of bot that pings, but I do have a specific channel where I mention when I'm going live, and I pop that in before I do. So it is completely opt-in. You can mute it all and not be bothered by it. I definitely don't like getting pinged and notifications from Discord that are not DMs and stuff like that. And I respect everybody's desire as well to not have that happen to them. So I don't have any kind of bot that like pings you or adheres or whatever, or channels you, and smashes your notification inbox with me going live. I have a separate channel specifically for going live, and you can opt into that if you like. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks for hanging out with me as always. Best of luck on pulling next week for Final Fantasy IV if you are going to, and definitely if you do, send me your like tweets and stuff with your new card if you get rank 1 right away. Try to give me some audio. I want to hear how good the music is on the new card, because the new card's not very good, but it's going to have some really good Final Fantasy IV music. If I recall correctly, I don't know what it's going to sound like. I hope it's the same as JP, because JP sounded pretty good. So we'll check that out. So tweet that at me and stuff. All my info for that is down below as well, and on the Twitch channel, of course. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you click the little description box, copy in the Twitch channel, come on over to the Twitch channel. Even if I'm not live, you can check out all my info below. It's all right there. And we'll see you guys Sunday. I'm not sure what I'm going to play yet, but we'll see. Maybe we'll actually play some Star Wars. I don't know. I've been messing around with a lot of games lately, so we'll check that out. But after this, I'm definitely going to we're done recording here. You can join me live on the link down below at the Twitch channel, and we're going to play something else after this. Not sure what yet, but we'll figure it out. So see you guys. If I don't see you tomorrow for some pulls, I'll see you Sunday for something random, and then we'll see you next Wednesday for This Week in Brave Exvius. As always, big news will be coming next weekend. We will finally know what's going on with Halloween, and we'll have information from the weekly live stream to recap. So tune in for that one. See you guys then.